Okay, so you lose Jordan James, you bring in Mekhi Hughes. That's a pretty good trade, right? If you look at that from Oregon's perspective. They have one of the best, I think, 1B backs out there in Noah Whittington. You know what you're going to get. Right? If you ask Noah Whittington to do something, he's going to do it, and he's going to do so many. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to pass block. He's going to run the football really well. He's going to do a lot of things really well. Where things get really intriguing to me with the Ducks is this number 3 running back battle kind of thing. A lot of smoke out there for Dink Riggs, okay? And I'm big and I'm very high on Riggs. We saw that at the end of the season in the Washington game, really just how good that he can be. Some other games certainly as well, but that Washington game certainly stuck out to me towards the end of the season. You got Jade Lamar, a D2 transfer that came in last year, in Jay Harris as well. Who do you think has the leg up for this RB3 spot as we get spring practice underway?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you got to look at Dink Riggs right away. And that's kind of the guy. I mean, there was a lot of excitement about him after last year. Of course, it was a little bit limited, but I think that was by design for Oregon, keep him preserved. Yeah. And I think there's a version of Oregon that said, hey, if we didn't get Mekhi Hughes, who's an obvious must-take if you can get him, no doubt about that. If you didn't get him, I think you probably felt pretty good with Noah Whittington and Dink Riggs heading into the season being your two-headed monster. And that's a good problem for Oregon to have. I think those 3 guys are really going to, excel and get plenty of carries. And I think we're going to see Oregon use all 3 quite a bit this year. They all bring something different to the table. Mekhi Hughes clearly is a really good running back. That guy's going to up his NFL stock probably like no other this year. But Whittington, like you said, his physicality this year improved so much. And he was already a good pass-catching wiggle kind of guy. And now you added he had a couple big runs running over some guys in games and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's Dink Riggs. Lamar is a guy that, came in and also had some good run last year at various times. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. But if I'm giving it an answer, I think Dink Riggs heads into this competition probably with a leg up on that running back 3 spot.
Let's go to the wide receiver position right now with a returning Evan Stewart, really slated to be that wide receiver 1 type of guy. You go to the next group of wide receivers, and I think this is where things get extremely interesting. Of course, we talked about Dakorien Moore. Everybody's talked about Dakorien Moore. Can he be a Ryan Williams? Can he be a Jeremiah Smith, the next in line of those great, really young wide receivers as well? But you get beyond that, and there's a lot of bodies. There's a lot of talented bodies, though, as well. I like Jeremiah McClellan. You got like veterans Justice Lowe, Gary Bryant. Jerrion Dickey's been banged up, but he was a 5-star guy when he came out. Kyler Casper, the length that he certainly provides in there as well. Do you think there is an anticipation of what the pecking order could be? Or do you think going into spring practice, this is just going to be, hey, let's throw 5 guys out there, rotate them evenly through the reps, and let's see who comes out on top?
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be. I think this is going to be the group that we hear talked about the most, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, you'd love to have a Jeremiah Smith out there. For starters, I think Evan Stewart's going to have a better year because he's going to be moved into a more natural role. Yeah. You had Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart out there who are very similar in how they play. Well, Tez Johnson gone now. You're going to move Evan Stewart into that role a little bit more because Tez Johnson's gone. I think you're going to see a lot more production out of him. Dakorien Moore, like, you got to expect he's going to be one of the dudes, right? I mean, you win all after him if you're Oregon. Huge get, your biggest signing. That guy's going to be on the football field. Whether he's a starter or not remains to be seen. He's going to be on the football field. But, Kyler Casper comes back off of injury. Just kind of a different unicorn there. Really tall guy, not quite a tight end, but just a little bit. I think you're going to see what I'm going to say is a lot of situational football out there when it comes to the receiver room because they have so many people – so many players that do different things. We haven't even talked about Malik Benson, the transfer from Florida State.
Thank you.
Who, transferred in and is kind of, under the shuffle there just because he hasn't maybe had as much production. But you look at Florida State's offense last year and it was abysmal. And, is he a byproduct of that? So that's a guy that can stretch the field vertically and take the top off of defense. And we just talked about a quarterback with a cannon for an arm. Mm-hmm. He might be in for a big year. So this will very much, I guess, here's the thing I will say about receiver, and I feel strongly about this. We will not have a clear answer on who the 3 starters are coming out of spring. Yeah. This will very much go into fall. And, I know Dan Lanning's going to challenge all these guys, say, hey, we're going to let the cream rise to the top. And if you're the guy, you're the guy. And so I very much believe that those guys will go into summer and fall ball feeling that there's still an open competition. And I think there will be.